is Rona Labong, and to my fellow classmates. Anyway, for this PowerPoint record audio, we have a discussion about personality disorder. So what is a personality disorder? Personality disorders are a type of mental illness in which a person's thought, patterns, and behavior cause them distress. Often people with a personality disorder experience inflexible thoughts that impair their ability to adapt to stress, problem solve, or engage in healthy relationships with others. There are many types of personality disorders, and only a skilled mental health professional, such as a psychiatrist, psychologist, or a social worker, can diagnose or overlap each other, though each specific type usually involves a defining feature.
We have here the 10 different types of personality disorder. Number 1 is the borderline personality disorder.
Borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder is a mental disorder that impacts the way you think and feel about yourself and others, causing problems functioning in everything life. It includes self-image issues, difficulty managing motion and behavior, and pattern of unstable relationships. So we have here the example of borderline personality disorder. Impulsive risky behaviors such as gambling, reckless driving, unsafe sex, expending stress, bengi, eating or drug abuse, or sabotaging success by suddenly equating a good job or ending a positive relationship. Suicidal threats or behavior or self-injury after a response of fear, separation, or rejection. So, this is the complication of borderline personality disorder. So, list 1, impulsive and risky behavior, such as having unsafe sex, gambling, or binge eating. Unstable or fragile self-image. Unstable and tense relationships. Up and down mood. After as a reaction to interpersonal stress. Suicidal behavior or traits of self-injury, intense fear of being alone or abandoned, ongoing feeling of emptiness, frequent intense display of anger, stress, related paranoia that comes and goes. So, this is what is the symptoms of borderline personality. So when we say borderline personality, this disorder, you are in a situation, you don't know how you manage yourself because your behavior functioning in everything. You will lose your mind, think everything, and this problem, you are comparing yourself to the others. Symptoms can vary from person to person. Common symptoms include distorted self-image, feelings of isolation, boredom, and emptiness, mood swings, sometimes severe and sudden, feelings of anxiety, loss of interest in routine activities, suicidal thoughts, delusion. So this is the borderline personality disorder. And now let us proceed to the next topic of personality disorder. So we have here histrionic personality disorder. Histrionic personality disorder is a part of larger group of psychological disorder called Class B personality disorder. Disorder in this category are generally categorized as being dramatic, emotional, or erratic. People with HPD, which is histrionic personality disorder, have a disordered mental image of themselves. They often base their self-esteem on the approval of others. This creates a need to be noticed. Because of this, people with HPD may resort of dramatic intakes. Women are diagnosed with HPD more often than men. That may be because men report their symptoms less often than women. And now let us talk about Cluster B personality disorder. So what is Cluster B personality disorder? So, are characterized by dramatic, overly emotional, or unpredictable thinking or behavior. They include antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. And then we have the complication of histrionic personality disorder. Histrionic personality disorder can affect a person's social or romantic relationships and how a person reacts to loss or failure. People with this disorder are also at higher risk than general population to have depression. And when we say histrionic, people act easily influenced by other and by current trend. And these patients often dress and act in appropriately seductive and provocative ways, not just with potential romantic interests, but in many ways context. These want to express other with the other appearance and so are often preoccupied with how they look. So baga mga paasi inhira, mga kulang sa pansin. In my case, people with histrionic personality disorder have a good skill. However, they're trying to use the skills to manipulate others so they can be the center of attention. A person with this disorder might also be self-centered and rarely show concern for others, threaten or attempt suicide to get attention, make rash decisions, shift emotion rapidly, have difficulty maintain relationships, often seeming fake or shallow in their dealing with others. Histrionic personality disorder. It contains men constantly seeking attention, excessively emotional, dramatic, or sexual provocation to gain attention, speak dramatically with strong opinion, but few facts or details to back them up, easily influenced by others, shallow rapidly changing emotions, excessive concern with physical appearance, think relationship with the other are closer than they really are. Recently, I know you talk about histrionic personality disorder, and let us proceed again for the next topic of personality disorder. So we have here narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, so one of the several types of personality disorders is a mental condition in which people have inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationship, and lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that vulnerable to the slightest criticisms. So we have here the three following of narcissistic. So first one, environmental, two, genetics, and three, neurobiology. So one, environmental, mismatches in parent-child relationship, either excessive adoration or excessive criticism that is poorly attuned to the child experience. So genetics, inherited characteristic. 3. Neurobiology, the connection between the brain and behavior and thinking. So the risk factors of narcissistic personality disorder affect more males than female, and it often begins in teens or early adulthood. Keep in mind that although the children may show traits of narcissism, this may simply be typical of their age and doesn't mean They'll go on to develop narcissistic personality disorder. So the complication of narcissistic personality disorder and other conditions that cause occur along within can include. So you have here relationship difficulties, problems at work or school, depression and anxiety, physical health problems, drug and alcohol misissues, suicidal, is suicidal thoughts and behavior. So we have here the part of personality disorder which is avoidant. So what is avoidant personality disorder? Is marked by extreme fear of rejection and criticism that leads to inability to engage in meaningful relationship with other people. Avoidant personalities feel a strong need to be liked by everyone and feel crushed if they believe they said or did something foolish in front of the others. As a result of this emotional fragility, they tend to avoid social situation as often as possible. Symptoms of avoidant personality. So we have here the symptoms. People with avoidant personality disorder avoid social interaction, even at work, because they fears they will be criticized or rejected or the people will disapprove of them. For example, they may do the following. They may refuse a promotion because they fear coworker will criticize them. So, another one, they may avoid meeting or they may avoid making no friends unless they are sure they will be like charot. So, the extreme sensitivity of criticism. People with avoidant personality disorder are very sensitive to anything critical, disapproving, or mocking because they constantly think about criticized or rejected by others. They are vigilant for any sign of negative response to them. Their tense issues appearance may elicit mockery or teasing, thus seeming to confirm their self-doubt. Okay, the six signs of avoidant personality disorder. So that is the example of the six signs of avoidant.
Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder is characterized by a pervasive preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and control that ultimately slows or interferes with completing a task. Diagnosis is by clinical criteria. Treatment is with psychodynamic, psychotherapy, cognitive behavior therapy, and selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So there are the causes of OCPD or obsessive compulsive personality disorder. The exact causes of OCPD is unknown. Like many aspects of OCPD, the causes have yet to be determined. OCPD may be caused by a combination of genetics and childhood experiences. Adults can recall experiencing OCPD from a very young age. They may have felt that they needed to be perfect or perfectly obedient. This need to follow the rules then carries over into adulthood. So we have the question. The question is, who is most at risk for OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder? The International OCD Foundation or OCDF approximates that men are twice as likely as women to be diagnosed with this personality disorder. According to the Journal of Personality Assessment, between 2 or 7% of the population has OCPD, making it the most prevalent personality disorder. Those with existing mental health diagnoses are more likely to be diagnosed with OCPD. So we have here the complication of obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Preoccupation with details, orderliness, and rules, extreme perfectionism resulting in dysfunction and distress when perfection is not achieved, such as feeling unable to finish a project because you don't meet your own strict understands. Desire to be control of people, tasks, and situation, and inability to delegate tasks. Neglect of friends and enjoyable activities because of excessive commitment to work and a project. Inability to discard broken or worthless objects. Rigid or stubborn. Inflexible about morality, ethics, or values. Tight, miserly control over budgets and spending money. So we have here the causes of obsessive compulsive disorder. The exact cause of OCD is still not known, but a few theories are listed below. Number 1 is biology. Changes is body's natural chemistry or brain functions. 2 is genetics. OCD runs in families something, or sometimes and can be passed on. 3 is depression. Depression may be sometimes develop OCD symptoms.
So now we have here the part of personality disorders. We have here is schizoid personality disorder. So what is schizoid personality disorder? Is that something of a schizophrenia and a very serious mental health condition that usually includes hallucination and extremely disordered thinking. A person with schizoid personality disorder may be described as withdrawn or solitary. People with schizoid personality disorder often appear emotionally cold and preoccupied with their own internal fantasies than with the realities of life. They might be described as dreamer instead of realistic. Cause of schizoid personality disorder. So we have the genes are thought to play a role in the development of schizoid personality disorder. This disorder may be more common among people who have family members with schizophrenia or schizotypal personal disorder. So having caregiver who were emotionally cold, neglecting, and detached during childhood may contribute to the development of schizoid personality disorder. Having such caregiver may reinforce the child's feeling that relationship with the other people are not satisfying. So symptoms of schizoid personality disorder. So detachment from others. People with schizoid personality disorder seem to have no desire for close relationships with other people, including relatives. They have no friends or confident except sometimes a first degree relatives, such as parents and siblings. They rarely date and often do not marry because they prefer being by themselves. They tend to choose activities and habits that do not require interaction with the other. Limited expression of emotion. People with schizoid personality disorder rarely react, for example, by smiling or nodding, or show emotion in a situation. They have difficult expressing anger even when they are provoked. They do not react appropriately in important life events and may seem passive in response to changes in circumstances. So, presence of symptoms. Symptoms of schizoid personality disorder tend to remain the same over time more so than those of other personality disorder. So schizoid personality disorder is, as you can see the image, it looks like the emoji. So here the characterize of being a schizoid person. So we have here the part of personality disorder, which is schizotypal personality disorder. Again, this personality disorder is not the same thing as schizophrenia. In schizotypal personality disorder, a person may behave very eccentrically or express bizarre beliefs that ostracize them from others. Schizotypal personality disorder often goes hand in hand with extreme social anxiety. Some people with a schizotypal personality disorder believe they can read other people's mind. Oh, bongga. Cause of schizotypal personality disorder. So, your genes may play role in schizotypal personality disorder. It's more common in relatives or people with schizophrenia and usually start in easily adult. A person temperament reaction if life event, relationship, and copying strategies probably all have something to do with how their personality develops during childhood and adolescence. So we have here the symptoms of schizotypal personality disorder. People have odd behavior, speech pattern, thoughts, and participation. Other people often describe them as stranger or eccentric. People who have this disorder may also be suspicious and paranoid, dress, speak, or act in the odds or usually way how Woods believe or thinking. For example, being overly superstitious or thinking of themselves or psychic tend to misinterpret reality or to have distorted perception. For example, mistaking noises for voices. Schizotypal personality disorder. So if you're the peculiar dress, thinking, belief, speech, or behavior, odd perceptual experiences such as hearing or voice whisper your name, flood emotion or inappropriate emotional responses, social anxiety and lack of discomfort of close relationship, indifferent, inappropriate or suspicious or response to other, magical thinking. Believe you can influence people and event with your thoughts. Believe that certain casual accident or event have hidden message meant only for you. Recently, we talked about schizotypal personality disorder. So, let us proceed again for the next topic of personality disorder. So, we have here paranoid personality disorder. So, people with paranoid personality disorder tend to be extremely distrustful of all other people. They view every interpersonal interaction as a threat. This is called viewpoint lead people with paranoid personality disorder to behave every guarded obsecurative ways. Paranoid people also may turn violent quickly if they perceive someone is ridiculing or threatening them. So cause of paranoid personality disorder. The exact cause of PPD is not known, but it like involve a combination of biological and psychological factor. The fact that PD PPD, which is paranoid personality disorder, is more common in people who have close relatives with schizophrenia, suggests a genetic link between the two disorders. So, early childhood experience, including physical or emotional trauma, also suspected to play a role in the development of PPD, paranoid personality disorder. So symptoms of paranoid personality disorder. So people with paranoid personal disorder always on guard, believing that others are constantly trying to demean, harm, or threaten them. So these generally unfounded beliefs, as well as their habit of blame and distrust, might interfere with their ability to form close relationships. Some example of people with this disorder so are hostile, stubborn, and argumentative. So have difficulty relaxing, are generally cold and distant in their relationships with others, and might become controlling and jealous. So, paranoid personality disorder. So we have here the, the complication. So pervasive distrust and suspicious of other and their motive. So unjustified belief that others are trying to harm or deceive you. So unjustified suspicious of the loyalty or trustworthiness of others. So hesitancy to confide the other due to unreasonable for other that one another with us the information against you. So perception of innocent remarks or non-threatening situation as personal in consult and arcs. Anger and hostile reaction to perceived slights or insults. Tendency to hold grudge. Unjustified, recurrent suspicion that spouse or sexual partner in hand are unfaithful. For the last topic, we have here dependent personality disorder. The defining feature of dependent personality disorder is an awareness and inability to make your own decision or to actively participate in managing your own life. People with dependent personality disorder tend to be very submissive or timid and rarely initiate relationship or protect. Independent personality disorder, even a consequential decision making, and become an overwhelming task that required input and reassurance from multiple other people. About dependent personality disorder, characterized by a pervasive psychological dependence on other people. They behave in clingy, submissive ways and display a strong need to have others take care of them. The display helplessness and difficulty in making even minor decisions without an excessive amount of advice and assurances from others. They also have unreasonable fear of abandonment, feelings of inadequacy, extreme sensitivity to criticism, and timid, passive demeanor. Passive demeanor. So causes of dependent personality disorder. Life research early experiences. So one we have here death of parents. Two rejection. Three attachment. So when we say dependence, it is attempting as you were alone and you don't have relation even parents. And also, as I said recently, dependent personality disorder is depend inability to make your own decision or to participate in managing your own life. Thank you so much for listening this report, and I hope you will earn knowledge about personality disorder. Thank you.